Hello. Namaste.
Namaste.
How nice to see you. Can you hear us?
Good. Good.
Oh, lovely to see you all.
We saw the pictures of you all going into the downstairs of the new building and doing a blessing for it. It looked wonderful.
So when we come, we'll do a blessing for the new center. Oh, we have a really clear picture of you.
Yeah. Did you get a new camera or something?
Maybe better bandwidth today.
We'd like to grace you with a song if you would like.
Oh, wonderful.
Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere, love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and begin. Often on earth, things of great worth, worldly ambitions defy. Sometimes a friend helps us ascend up from life's stairs to the sky. Love is a star, though shining afar. It can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh. Love is a star, though shining afar. It can guide us and help us toward light to draw nigh.
Today we had a retreat day with core members from all the different communities in America, and the choir sang 2 songs, and Life is a Dream is one of the ones that they sang. So it's life is a dream and time is a stream. So there isn't any separation.
There's somebody here that wants to say hello to all of you.
Do you recognize him?
Actually, the
That's
screen
the-
froze.
What?
Very nice.
We can see you very clearly.
So, why don't you
So-
scoot over a little bit?
So be on your best behavior, as we can see whether you're smiling or not.
We're falling asleep.
Yep. Even one closed eye. When I was in college, I was driving and I was very sleepy. It was late at night. And I actually convinced myself in my sleepy state that it would be okay to let one eye at a time go to sleep, as long as I kept the other one open. Fortunately, nothing happened, but I'm still here. So tell us a little about the new center. It looked wonderful. When will you be able to move in?
That is the question we're all asking God. But
Yes.
it seems it's on track for mid-September that all the work should be done. And so
Oh,
it's all proceeding very smoothly so far. The main work right now is to bring down the interior walls to make the temple space, to create the temple space. And so
right.
that is, it's very exciting. Once that happens, then we can also all go in and actually stand in the temple While that is happening, some other interior remodeling work is happening in parallel. So that's, it's full steam ahead.
That's wonderful.
You know, it's this will really be a turning point in all of your lives and in Master's work in Chennai, because when the work got started here, of course, Swamiji came and did some big programs, but Dharmaraj and Dharmini really helped get the center where you are. They set it up. But now the new center, it's the next expression. And all of you will help to create it and to make it beautiful and set it up. So it's like it will be all of our center. And it will just, I know it will bring many, many people in the Chennai area to Master and to Anand. So it's a great service, not only for all of you to have a beautiful new center, but for all the people that will be coming.
Yeah, that's really the point of having a center, because for us, just of ourselves, we could meet together under a tree and, you know, it wouldn't be as nice, but we could be happy that way. But especially for newcomers and those first making the connection, to have a place of beauty and an uplifted vibration where they can come and make that first impression something that captures them is very, very important. Master said we should immortalize our ideals in architecture. And so always, almost everywhere, the first project that was in any of our locations was to get the center going so that we could have a place where devotees could come. Master talked about a center being like the hive. And so it's very important to have the hive, but you all have to be the honey. And the teachings themselves are the honey, that the people come and they're attracted first by the hive, by the center, by the things. But if the teachings aren't available to them and aren't deep and all of you connecting with them on a very individual level, if that doesn't happen, they'll come and they'll maybe be curious and they'll stop by once or twice, but they won't stay. But, you know, you all have stayed, and now you have a core group with a lot of magnetism. You know, we're Devi and I must say, we're very magnetically attracted to always come back to Chennai and come to the center. And it's not because the building is so beautiful, it's because all the people are so beautiful.
And you know, we became aware that on the 31st of July, 1949 was when Yoganandaji Guruji gave that very powerful speech, which Swamiji was present. This was in Los Angeles, and it was he said it was July 31, 1949. Today marks the birth of a new era. Youth must go north, south, east, and west, spreading world brotherhood colonies. And Swami heard that talk, and he was riveted, and he vowed from the core of his being that he would spread these teachings. And now it's 67 years ago that Master gave that talk of all places, Beverly Hills in California. And now here you are, you have a community of Gurubhais, but now you're creating a bigger hive for this community to meet in. So it's really thrilling to see how these great masters come to the world. And Master said, my words are registered in the ether. Registered in the ether. And so they're there always for people to draw inspiration from. And I really feel that the deep friendship you all have with each other and the dedication and the devotion to Master, it's really going to create a very beautiful work for God, especially given the opportunity of having this beautiful new center. You know, we got to see it when we were there last spring, just part of it, not all of it was we could see, but it's so lovely, and we're really looking forward to being there. You know, we leave America in 10 days. We go first to Ananda community in Assisi, Italy, and we'll be there for 3 weeks. We'll do a week-long Kriya program, Kriya initiation, and then some other programs as well. And then we come to India September 6th, I believe. So it's not very far away.
Yeah, it's less than a month away now.
So it will be wonderful. And this coming week, starting tomorrow, in fact, we'll be having our annual spiritual renewal week. It's something Swamiji started very first year of Ananda, 1969. And we've had it every year. It's a week of wonderful classes. And in the evenings, we have very fun activities, a concert and kirtan. One evening, we'll put on Swami's play, The Jewel in the Lotus, which is when Master, it's a play Swamiji wrote about when Master reincarnates 200 years in the future in India.
Have you ever seen that? They put it on in India one time, but I think up in the north.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful play. Sometime you all will have to do that.
Put it on.
Yeah, Sairam can play the story.
Then on Saturday night of this spiritual renewal week, Friday night we have 3 initiations, level 1, 2, and 4. Many people take it. And then Saturday night we have a big Indian banquet. And we decorate all of the retreat center. We have bigger than life-size kind of cut-out cardboard of Ram and Sita and Krishna and elephants, and we put them all over. Everything's decorated beautifully, not as beautiful as you do, but we try. And then after the Indian banquet, we're actually going to do a blessing for the new temple. We need a bigger temple here. So we're starting to plan it. So a week from tonight, we'll have a blessing for the new temple at Ananda Village. And maybe someday you all can come. That would be wonderful. Come together with Dharmarajan and Dharmini, and we can be at the village, Ananda Village, and you can see all your Guru Bhais who live here.
Yes, it's a very, very nice thing when the devotees from different areas all gather together at the same time. That happened for the dedication of the Moksha Mandir for Swamiji. And it was so wonderful because we can talk about how Ananda is an international work, and we can show photos and we can even show videos. But for the devotees to be able to meet together from Italy, from Germany, from all over Europe, and the devotees from all over India, coming together for an event and sharing, it becomes so clear and so obvious that not only is Ananda international, but we really are one family. You know, Swami pointed out, and it's really true, you will feel closer to the devotees of Ananda that you meet here or you meet in Italy than you will likely to a shopkeeper that is just 2 shops down from you. Because what really makes family is consciousness, not place, not language, not culture, none of those. Those are all superficial. But the real community is the community of souls and hearts and minds. And when those are in sync, everyone feels like your brother and your sister. Devi and I, when we travel, we never feel, in a certain sense, of course, our body moves around. But in another way, we never feel like we're leaving home. You know, when we come there to Chennai, we don't feel like we've left home. We feel like we're at home. It's just one of our other homes that we don't get to stay in quite so often. But you too will feel that when you travel. We have several people from India visiting this week, and you know, one of the nice things is that here at the village, there are enough homes so that someone from India, for instance, can stay in someone's home. That's what's happening. I don't know if you know Sonia from Gurgaon area. She is helping the Ananda Charitable Trust. She's helping many of those young mothers and widows learn high-level sewing skills so that they can earn a living and support themselves, support their families. Anyway, she's here visiting, and she just feels just like a sister.
It's so nice to see people coming in, because everyone that comes in, we recognize.
Yeah, we recognize.
That's wonderful. And I think Dharmarajan and Dharmini sent us a schedule, and I think we're going to have some very nice activities while we're there as well. Nice dinners together and satsangs and classes, so that will be wonderful. And I know some of you are very respond a lot to our blogs almost every week, and we just want to say it's so lovely to get
Right.
Sundar Rajan gave a really great comment on your last one.
No, it's just very nice we feel so connected when we get those little notes from several of you that are there. But, you know, the spiritual life that Master gave us, we've been part of Ananda now for almost 50 years. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. And it's like you feel every day is a gift from God. It's like there's just the joy of God, sweetness of God when you see your friends, you see beautiful things in nature. I don't know how people really can find happiness without having some spiritual component in their life. Because the world, as Swami said, or Master said, it's like stale cheese. It has no flavor. It has no intrinsic value to it. But when you have a relationship with God in your life, when you feel His presence or Divine Mother in your life, everything becomes so sweet. Today, as we were saying, we had a retreat day with members from all the different communities in America, and we had such a beautiful time. We had a long meditation in the morning, then a breakfast together, all outside under the trees. They had tables set up, and people were laughing and talking, and it was almost like heaven on earth. And that sweetness that comes with a shared love of God. And it really, without it, life can become so empty, so meaningless. But with it, everything becomes wonderful and interesting and inspiring. So I know all of you are very sincere about your spiritual life and very dedicated, and we know this of you. We do. And just keep going. Don't ever get discouraged if you're not meditating as much as you would like or as deeply as you would like. You know, one of the great lines from the Bhagavad Gita is, Krishna says, "To my devotee, I make good their deficiencies and make permanent their gains." So whatever we feel like, oh, I'm not a good devotee, I don't meditate enough, I'm not devoted enough, don't worry about that. God will cut the difference. But all we have to do is love him. And whatever spiritual gains we are able, through God's grace, to draw, God makes those permanent changes in our own consciousness. So just keep trying and keep drawing inspiration from your center, from your wonderful acharyas that you have there, but most of all from God and Guru. And you'll find that everything, again, it says, all things in, Sri Kishore said, all things in future will improve if we are making the right spiritual effort now. And it's just so true. I get increasingly inspired just to watch how God makes everything work out just nicely. Just this afternoon, we were driving home from this retreat day, and we just said, oh, let's take a different route home. Let's take this other road. And so we did. And right there was this lovely woman from India walking on the road, Sonia, that we just mentioned. She said, oh, I was so wonderful to see you. I've just arrived at Ananda village. And we just decided to take that other way to get home, a different way. And there she was. So I said, isn't it wonderful how God just arranges everything?
Down to the minutest detail. But it doesn't seem that way because he keeps it all from us. So he obscures it, and the logical mind says, oh, it was just happenstance that we saw Sonia. But in reality, it wasn't happenstance at all. And nothing is really happenstance. One of the great keys is everything that happens to say, thank you, God, this comes from you, and it comes as an expression of your love for me. Even the difficult things, because the difficult things free us from attachments. And it may even free us someday from the attachment to the body. But even that is an act of love. And so everything, if we take everything that happens as coming from God, life becomes so sweet. And if we reject things and say, this is unfair, I didn't deserve this, why is this happening to me? Life becomes so sour. And it's just one tiny little turn. It's like seeing the front of a card or the back of a card. And the back of the card could be, I don't know, ugly and distorted, and the front of the card is just this queen, the Queen of Hearts smiling at us. And it's just that one little turn in the mind. So, and then life becomes sweet. So we want to give all of you a chance to ask some questions. And so...
One of the themes for today is that we have two people taking the discipleship vow. And they are Sangeeta, who's right here, and then Durga.
Oh.
Durga, of course, you know, is Sai Baba.
Oh.
And so...
I wish we could embrace you, but we will do that when we get there. But may Master be ever-growing, a living presence in your heart, and may he guide you and fill you with joy.
I'll just say this about the discipleship vows. It's a turning point in life, and especially to take it from the inside out. The vow itself, the ceremony, all of that, one can get caught up in those things. But that isn't the essence of it. The essence of it is the disciple opens their heart to guidance from the Guru. And when we open our heart to the Guru, then and to the extent that we do, and that we keep our heart open, then the Guru will guide us, and that guidance becomes clearer and clearer and clearer until you really feel like everything is being guided. Just as we were talking about taking this other road, we really feel like that's just something that the Guru just guided us to do. And so that discipleship from the inside, aligning our will to the will of the Guru, is the most important thing on the spiritual path. Everything else will fall into place when that is right, and nothing will work. You can concentrate on the techniques. We've had people here at Ananda who meditated hours and hours each day, and all they did was to become proud of how long they meditated, because they didn't have the spirit of true discipleship. But discipleship is the thing that will carry you over all of the obstacles that we have in life. And Devi and I are still working on perfecting our discipleship to Master.
Yeah, Swami said something so beautiful. He said, I was so young when I was with Master. When he was 22, and Master passed away 4 years later. So he said, I wish so much I could have been more spiritually mature, so I could have gotten more from being with him. But he said, if I would be with him for 1,000 lifetimes, I would probably still feel that way. Because, however, until you're one with the Guru, one with God, you feel the separation. You always wish you could be more and wish you could be more in tune. But I don't think the Guru cares. I think the Guru just sees our love, or the simplicity of our hearts. And that's whether we understand all of his teachings or can follow his instructions perfectly or do the techniques perfectly or do them even well. I don't think the Guru cares. He just is pleased that we've broken away from delusion and that we're seeking something higher.
In one sense, as Devi was intimating, this is probably the only sense of it too, we're fortunate that Master isn't in the body, because if he were in the body, we would be so awestruck being around him, we would kind of freeze up. And that's what Swami said also. He said, I was always in awe of Master whenever I was around him. But later on, when he was a more mature devotee, and he met Anandamoyi Ma in 1958 and spent time with her, he said, then I was more relaxed. And then she became just like my mother. He said, I wish I could have had that relationship with Master, but I was too young and too much in awe of him. So having Master a little bit at a distance, so he's on the astral plane and we're on the physical plane, that little bit of a distance actually allows us to be a little bit more relaxed in our relationship with him. And so, as I say, that's the only advantage. I'd trade in that advantage for all the other things that being next to the Guru allows. But it's our karma. And, Master said that the astral plane is not distant from us. We think, oh, heaven must be up there, heaven must be distant, or the astral plane must be somewhere far away. He said the astral plane is right in the room that you're sitting in. It's just a different vibration and not a different place. And so in that sense, Master is right in the room with you right now. It's all present at the same time. But such is the veil of ignorance that allows this sukha dukkha dham to continue to be able to be portrayed. That veil of ignorance makes us think that things are distant. Master is a distance away, but discipleship, the true discipleship, again brings him close, brings him inside our own heart. So we're very, very happy for you both that you're taking the step of discipleship.
Yeah. And in a sense, it's the most important step that a soul can take in any incarnation, the step of discipleship. Because once that's taken deeply and sincerely, we have to, with all humility, accept that our feet are moving towards liberation through the grace of the Guru. So it's really, if it's done, as I say, humbly and deeply and sincerely, it's the most important thing we can do in any particular incarnation. So it's such a big family Master has. Just as, the last chapter in the autobiography where he says, Lord, thou hast given this monk a big family, and we're all Master's children. And that's why we all feel like brothers and sisters, because we're children of Master.
So any other questions?
Everyone's a little shy at first. Just think of it as a comment on the
Yeah.
law.
We sometimes say, does anyone want to ask the second question?
Ashwini, why don't you move a little? Why don't you guys move a little bit? Prasanna, why don't you come here, just so they can see you? Just make sure you see yourself.
Hello,
Hello.
Devi, hello, Jyotish. So
Nice
you
to-
actually answered my question when you said Krishna, about what Krishna says that I will make good your deficiencies and make permanent your blessings. So my question
your
was
gain.
actually, there was another question in my mind about how to motivate ourselves to be more in tune when it is during the periods of lull, when it is not high, not low. How do we still keep ourselves motivated to accelerate our spiritual effort instead of just coasting through the periods?
Don't be too concerned, honestly. One time Swami said to Master, am I not trying hard enough? And Master said, you're trying too hard. And so we can get overly concerned. Am I just meditating with such concentration every day? And Master said, every meditation should be better than the one before it, and this meditation is not as good as the one last week, and I'm a failed devotee, and we just tie ourselves up. All we need to do is love God, really. It's much more a relationship like with our own dearest friend or dear our mother. She doesn't care. I mean, a little bit, yes. She wants us to do well and try, but you don't have to go to your mother and complain that you didn't meditate as deeply as you wanted to, and you're just such a terrible person, and she doesn't care. Love God. That was Master's answer to a skeptic. Love God, and that's the whole secret.
And then just sincerely try your best and I think the most important thing is just never let your mind be pulled away. We have to work, we have to, drive a car, whatever, and be concentrated. But we have to tell you a wonderful story about being concentrated. There's a lovely family that lives here at Ananda. They, a husband and wife, they're wonderful Kriya Bobs, and they have 2 small children. And they told us this story today. They have a little girl named Tulsi. She's about 3 years old. And so Tulsi got a little splinter in her finger. And so her daddy she didn't want to let anybody take it out. And so her daddy said, okay, I'm going to be the doctor, Tulsi, and I'm going to come and you're my patient, and I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to take the little splinter out of your finger. And so he was doing all that, and then somebody else came up and started talking to him and distracted him. And so his little 3-year-old daughter said, Daddy, when you're working, you have to focus. She was like, focus.
You have to focus. Your daddy was the doctor, and he had to focus.
Sometimes children they reflect to us a higher level of wisdom. But, I think Master also said, no one goes home empty-handed. And so if you just stick with it, perseverance, sincerity, dedication to the best of your ability. And, one of the beautiful things about being part of Ananda communities is you see the spiritual growth over the years of many people, and you see what brings God's grace. And it's those qualities, humility and sincerity, and just persistence, keeping with it, no matter if you feel like you're making progress or not. So many of us went up to Babaji's cave over the last few years, and you just keep walking and walking and walking, and then all of a sudden there you are at Babaji's cave. And it's the same thing on the spiritual path. You keep walking and walking and walking, and you think, am I ever going to get there? And then finally you say, oh, here we are.
And you just need to be relaxed, By the time you've been on the path, and many of you will be on the path for the whole life. So by the time you've been on the path for as long as Devi and I have, you will have had 35 or 40,000 meditations. And so if you just try a little bit in each of those times, just try to do your best, try to love God, try to remember Him. It adds up. You think, well, this meditation wasn't good. Well, you've got another 34,999 to make up the deficiency there. So just do your best and then relax.
And I'm going to tell you a little secret that Jyotish won't like me to say, but he's going to have his birthday next week on August 12th. And we're going to, but he said no party, no present. So we're not going to, but we'll see if that really happens. But,
It better happen. Every year my party is my birthday is during this big public event of the year. And so if I had my preferences, I would just be quiet and be obscure on my birthday, but they never let me.
But maybe before we're all done, you can all send some ohms to bless Jyotish for his birthday. That would be the best present.
Let's do that. Everyone,
Okay, let's.
normally we would say visualize Jyotish, but that's very easy to do. So, with all of our love and gratitude for all that he and also Devi Ji have given not only to us but to the world in carrying on Master's living presence and Ananda as formed by Swamiji, but also in his sincere friendship for each of us and in our gratitude for all we
Oh, thank you. That's the best kind of birthday. Short, sweet, and uplifting.
Okay, well, maybe we will say goodbye for now. We'll see you very soon, and we're really looking forward to it. And Prem, we also appreciate all your comments, and it's so lovely to see all of you. Really, each one of you is a dear friend, and we look forward to having. I think we'll be in Chennai for several weeks, so we'll have lots of times to be together.
Yeah.
And we're just so glad we have this opportunity. So maybe Jyotish, you want to close with a prayer?
Okay, let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Hirdi Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, beloved Guruji, Paramahansa Yoganandaji, saints of all religions, we humbly bow to you all. Bless our lives with ever deeper love for thee, and help us to feel your infinite love for us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
And Gopal says goodbye to all of his friends in Chennai, and he wants you to come and play with him in the beautiful Krishna Loka.
Okay, goodbye, dear friends.